Well, probably heard me clearing my throat, but that's cool. Well, that's why we say life happens. You know, people happen, and so does loss and failure. But what do we do when all of that is happening? What do we do when unexpected is becoming a reality? What do we do when people we love don't understand us? And how do we handle the loss we were not expecting? Loss of life, loss of business, loss of relationships, loss of friendship, loss of a child, loss of a pet, especially when it's another living being. The loss is really hard to bear. And we feel like we failed. We failed somehow at doing something that someone was taken away from us. And speaking of failure, projects fail, businesses fail, little home improvement projects fail, big failures happen. You create something with so much love, so much passion, and something happens that it all comes to a halt. And right now, I know most of us can relate to that with this new pandemic, with the situation that none of us expected, none of us were prepared for. Suddenly, we find ourselves in a place where we don't understand how to cope with this. Is it our failure to not be prepared? Are we going to lose everything? The way things happen, they can shock us, they can surprise us. You have every right to be stunned. You have every right to be hurt. Sometimes you feel broken. Negative events discourage you, they break your confidence. Suddenly, you don't feel as if you have control over anything. And the worst part is, while you're dealing with all that, because of how you're dealing with your grief, how you're dealing with your hurt, your loss, your failure, other things start piling up. One thing I'll tell you is when you're in trouble, when you're failing, when things are not going your way, you'll come to realize there are people in your life who'll start walking away from you. Either you're too much drama for them, or you're no more a benefit for them, or you're just a burden that they don't need. They have a bigger goal, and that goal does not include being your support or caring for you. Now, should we blame them? Should you just hate them and should you just be bitter about it? Or should you try to understand from their perspective? Now, we'll say that there's my side and your side, and everybody has their reason, which is true. But the fact is, when all this is going on and loss after loss, failure after failure, heartbreak after heartbreak, so much is happening and it's beyond your control. You don't understand how to cope with it. You don't understand what really to do about it. And you feel lost. You feel scared. You feel like suddenly everything that you've built, everything you have done in your life, everything you have achieved, everything you have overcome becomes zero, becomes nothing, because suddenly you're again at the crossroads where you feel like, do I have to start over? Can I do this again? I invested my time, my life, my passion, my love, and Now I need to start all over again. Everything that I built is all gone. And that's when the question comes, how do we do this? And the answer is very simple, but it's really not. The answer is focus. But with all the losses and failures and betrayals and backstabbing and bullying and everything else that I've gone through in my life, including now this pandemic and other unexpected events, whenever things like this happen, my first reaction was, what did I do wrong? But the question is, this is not about you doing wrong or somebody else doing something wrong. It is about the life is happening. And it's not always going to happen the way you need it to happen, the way you designed it, the way you planned it. That's why it's life. It's unpredictable. There are no guarantees in life. And now, more than ever, it has become very, very evident that there are really no guarantees in life, and the whole world can be spun and go through a hurricane of events that nobody seems to have any control over. And this is why we need focus. Life and the lessons that I learned from life and from people and from incidents and from events taught me what focus really stands for me. And I share that with my clients pretty often, and that was my puppy purring, shaking himself off. So for me, focus meant and means forward and onward with clarity, understanding, and strength. The first clarity that we need is to actually understand what's really going on and where do I stand in everything that is going on. What do I have that is in my control? And what is it that I cannot control? What do I have that I can fix? And what is it that I cannot fix? Probably somebody else can, probably nobody else can. And I need to accept that and move forward and look towards the future. Now, let's not get into false positivism where you just pretend everything's going to be okay. You just pretend you're all positive. The fact is, life is going to happen. Tragedies will happen. Failures will happen. Betrayals will happen. But we have to, and it is absolutely freaking okay to be a human being, to feel hurt, to feel angry, to grieve, to not understand why all this is happening. But if we try to achieve clarity of where do we stand right now, what do I have available? What have I lost? What can I still do? And what I cannot focus on anymore. Once you have that clarity, then you have a better understanding of what your path needs to be. You have a better understanding of how you're going to do this. And you have a better understanding of things that you should not be wasting your time on, your energy on, and your emotion on, and things that you need to focus more on. And once you have that clarity, once you have that understanding, and you are ready to move forward and onward, you need to find the strength within. Sometimes it's going to be really hard. Sometimes you will feel like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot deal with this anymore. And that's okay. You're a human being. The struggle is real. But so is the fact that you're still alive. And we must never give up on life. We must never think that it's all over. Because as long as you're alive, as long as you are breathing, you have a chance. You can start over. You can do things again. And it's going to be better. It may not be exactly how you want it. You may have to learn new things. You may have to learn new ways. But As long as you're alive, you will be able to do this. You just need to focus on moving forward and onward with clarity, understanding, and strength. And for this very reason, you have to honor the latitude in between. Now, that's not just the name of my show, but that's the reality of life. Life is not black or white. There are lots of shades in between. There's a lot of space in between. It is not binary. It is not zero or one. It is not male or female. It is not religious or atheist. It is not good or bad. There is too much in between. And when you understand that latitude between, you get more clarity. You understand things better. And you find the strength to keep moving forward and onward. That's what I do when I struggle. And that's what I tell my clients to do when they come to me for help. That's what I tell my family, my friends, really anybody who comes and says, I can't do this. My first question always is, why can't you? You're still alive. You're still breathing. That means you still have a chance and you still can do it. And that's all you need to believe in. And that was my rambling for today. I'm Sebastian Oni, the Almost Naked CEO. And until next, dream big, make it happen.